In 2014, Navy pilots with upgraded radar systems began detecting impossible objects, craft that could stop mid-air, outrun fighter jets, and even shut down advanced sensors. One pilot described a black cube floating inside a transparent sphere, just miles off the Virginia coast, all witnessed by decorated aviators and even acknowledged in Congress. Yet the most disturbing part isn't the sightings, it's what officials admitted about interdimensional beings, and what they refused to let even Congress see. To separate speculation from verifiable detail, the most credible place to begin is with the testimony of trained military aviators and the sensor suites that supported their observations. Ryan Graves, a former Navy F-18 pilot with mechanical and aerospace engineering degrees, sets the foundation by establishing his credentials and explaining why his testimony matters. Graves served for about a decade both operationally in combat and as an instructor teaching new students. His experience began in late 2013, early 2014, when something extraordinary started appearing in their airspace. As Graves explains, they were simply flying out to their training area like any other day when, instead of seeing empty airspace, there were suddenly numerous radar contacts everywhere. This immediately created a safety problem because these objects could potentially cause mid-air collisions. The timing was crucial because this phenomenon began appearing right after they upgraded their radar systems, suggesting these objects had always been there but were previously undetectable with older technology. The radar data revealed objects with unusual kinematics. Unlike conventional aircraft that fly in straight lines with occasional turns, these objects displayed erratic flight patterns. Their velocity vectors would jump around, meandering in three-dimensional space, moving up and down while not maintaining a flat plane or straight trajectory. Most disturbing of all, some objects remained perfectly stationary regardless of wind conditions, defying basic principles of aerodynamics. When pilots first encountered these radar signatures, the natural assumption was equipment malfunction. However, when their sensors automatically locked onto these contacts, their FLIR camera systems revealed that something was actually there. The objects appeared as sources of infrared energy, like something reflecting or generating heat, confirming these weren't just radar glitches but physical phenomena. The speed capabilities of these objects range from completely stationary to approximately 240 to 330 knots, similar to fighter aircraft speeds. However, their ability to remain motionless in mid-air, while maintaining position against wind currents, suggested technology far beyond conventional propulsion systems. The progression from radar anomaly to confirmed visual sighting marked a critical shift in how military personnel had to approach these encounters. Initially dismissed as equipment errors, the situation became a legitimate safety concern once camera systems confirmed physical objects at the radar contact locations. The FLIR infrared camera systems showed these objects as energy sources, not clearly defined shapes, but definite heat signatures indicating something substantial was present. This evidence transformed the encounters from potential equipment malfunctions into real hazards requiring immediate attention and protocol changes. Even if these objects were something as simple as debris or weather balloons, their presence in military training airspace posed serious collision risks. As Graves noted, even small objects like tin foil or mylar balloons could destroy aircraft engines if ingested, making any unidentified object a potential catastrophe. The speed variations added another layer of complexity to the safety assessment. Objects that could remain stationary one moment, accelerate to fighter jet speeds the next represented unprecedented flight characteristics that existing safety protocols couldn't adequately address. This realization forced military personnel to treat these encounters with extreme caution while simultaneously struggling to understand what they were actually dealing with. The objects didn't behave like any known aircraft, weather phenomena, or debris, yet they were undeniably present and potentially dangerous. Ryan Graves' most compelling encounter occurred approximately 10 miles off the Virginia coast when his squadron spotted what appeared to be a black cube floating inside a transparent sphere. This object, estimated to be between 5 to 15 feet in diameter, slowly approached their lead aircraft in a manner that suggested controlled, intelligent movement. The description of a geometric shape within another geometric form defied conventional understanding of aircraft design. No known technology produces such configurations, and the object's ability to maintain stable flight while approaching military aircraft suggested advanced propulsion and control systems. As the object moved closer to the lead aircraft, the mission commander made the immediate decision to terminate the flight mission and order all aircraft to return to base. This reaction indicates the encounter was taken seriously enough to abort planned operations, suggesting the object posed a significant threat or represented something beyond normal operational parameters. Perhaps most disturbing was what happened after the squadron returned to base. Despite witnessing an unprecedented aerial phenomenon, no one discussed the incident. Everyone acted as if nothing had occurred, suggesting either official orders to remain silent or an established culture of non-disclosure regarding such encounters. Over the following years, these encounters became increasingly common. Air Force and Navy pilots began receiving briefings about the risks of encountering UAPs during flights, indicating official recognition of the phenomenon. However, when pilots actually experienced these encounters, they were given no platform to report their concerns or seek guidance. This pattern of acknowledgement without accountability created a dangerous situation where pilots were aware of potential hazards but had no official channels for reporting or addressing them. The systematic suppression of incident reports meant valuable safety and intelligence information was being lost or deliberately concealed. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Don't forget to share it with your friends too. It helps the channel out, and I'm excited to continue bringing you more awesome content. Commander David Fravor's encounter represents perhaps the most well-documented case of impossible aerial performance. On November 14, 2004, while commanding an F/A-18F squadron aboard the USS Nimitz off Southern California, Fravor witnessed capabilities that challenged fundamental understanding of physics and engineering. The initial reports described multiple aerial vehicles ascending and descending 80,000 feet in less than a second. To put this in perspective, 80,000 feet represents the edge of space, meaning these objects were traveling from sea level to space and back in under 1 second. Such acceleration would generate G-forces that would instantly destroy any known aircraft and kill any human occupant. When Fravor approached the object, described as resembling a white Tic-Tac candy, it began mirroring his aircraft's movements as if observing or studying his behavior. The object had no visible wings, exhaust plumes, or identifying markings, yet maintained controlled flight and appeared to be approximately the same size as Fravor's F/A-18. The most extraordinary moment occurred when Fravor attempted to intercept the object. Instead of evading conventionally, the object simply disappeared from its location and reappeared 60 miles away within seconds. This translates to instantaneous travel at impossible speeds, suggesting technology that operates outside known physical laws. Fravor's assessment was unequivocal. The capabilities demonstrated were well beyond current material science and engineering, and likely beyond anything achievable in the next 10 to 20 years using conventional technology. This testimony from an experienced military commander carries significant weight, given his expertise in advanced aviation systems. The Eglin Air Force Base incident stands as one of the most striking examples of how government secrecy can obstruct congressional oversight. When Congressman Matt Gaetz, joined by Representatives Tim Burchett and others, sought to investigate reported UAP encounters at the base, they faced strong resistance from military officials. The case began after flight crews reported encountering unidentified craft during a training mission over the Gulf of Mexico. What should have been a straightforward matter of oversight quickly escalated into a constitutional concern when elected representatives were blocked from speaking with key witnesses and reviewing evidence. At first, base officials refused to share any information, insisting the congressman lacked the clearance for what they classified as a special access program. This raised questions about accountability, as unelected officials withheld critical details from the very branch responsible for oversight. Persistent pressure eventually led to the release of limited images and radar data, yet access to the full crew was still denied. Lawmakers were allowed to meet only one aviator, the individual who captured photographs of the encounter. Other eyewitnesses remained unavailable for questioning. According to Gaetz, the image shown was beyond anything he could connect to existing human technology. Despite his years of service on the Armed Services Committee and his familiarity with advanced defense programs, he admitted the object did not align with any known U.S. or foreign capabilities. The pilot's account described multiple UAPs arranged in a diamond formation with a large orb at the center. When the crew tried to close in, their systems began to fail in sequence. Radar cut out, FLIR sensors malfunctioned, and the aviator had to rely on backup equipment to document what he saw. The event suggested a technology capable of interfering with advanced military systems. Equally troubling was the culture surrounding these encounters. Pilots were discouraged from reporting, warned that their careers could be jeopardized if they spoke openly. Such pressures ensure that many incidents remain undocumented, preventing thorough investigation. For Congress, the body tasked with ensuring transparency in matters of national security, being denied full access set a concerning precedent. It underscored how certain elements within the defense establishment can operate beyond democratic oversight, but making critical decisions without the accountability that a constitutional system requires. David Grusch's testimony remains one of the most striking accounts of alleged government involvement with non-human technology. A 14-year Air Force intelligence officer and level 15 official at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, Grusch held both the credentials and access to investigate highly classified programs. According to his findings, a multi-decade effort exists to recover, study, and attempt to reverse engineer craft and biological materials of non-human origin. He described a system of defense contractors managing much of the work, creating layers of secrecy that keep even senior officials unaware of the full scope. Grusch explained that retrieval operations rely on rapid response teams tasked with securing crash sites and transporting materials to specialized facilities. Known informally as metal benders, these independent contractors operate under strict confidentiality while handling UAP-related events. Once secured, the materials allegedly undergo analysis aimed at replicating propulsion systems, advanced materials, and energy technologies. Grusch even suggested that some technological advances of recent decades may trace back to insights from these programs rather than conventional research. Equally concerning were his claims about risks to personnel. He testified that individuals had suffered injuries both from direct encounters and from efforts to enforce secrecy. While unable to provide details in public, he indicated that intimidation and harm were sometimes used against those who considered speaking out. Adding a personal dimension, Grusch stated that he and his wife had witnessed anomalous activity themselves, though he declined to elaborate in the hearing. This combination of professional discovery and personal experience ultimately drove his decision to step forward, despite the risks to his career and safety. He also described how the contractor network behind these programs operates with minimal oversight, drawing from black budget allocations that avoid congressional review. This structure enables the programs to persist indefinitely, while allowing officials to plausibly deny knowledge of specific operations. Grusch ultimately spent more than 11 hours providing classified testimony to congressional intelligence committees, far beyond what could be shared publicly. The fact that such extensive closed-door briefings occurred underscores that lawmakers considered his claims serious enough to warrant an in-depth, classified investigation. The suppression of UAP reports within military and aviation circles remains one of the greatest barriers to understanding these phenomena. A culture of silence has developed, fueled by career risks, social stigma, and official discouragement from reporting unusual encounters. For military aviators, the pressure is especially acute. Their careers depend on security clearances, sound judgment, and reliability. Reporting encounters with craft that defy explanation risks being seen as unstable or unfit for duty, a perception that can end careers. This stigma extends beyond individuals to institutions. Military organizations value order, readiness, and authority. Acknowledging phenomena that cannot be explained or controlled introduces uncertainty, something leadership often seeks to avoid. Former Navy pilot Ryan Graves described meeting a colleague who had been outmaneuvered by an unidentified object yet refused to share details. The pilot feared that speaking openly would jeopardize flight status and advancement, not lead to investigation or resolution. To counter this, Graves founded Americans for Safe Aerospace, offering aviators a safe channel to report encounters without fear of retaliation. The organization highlights how current systems discourage pilots from sharing data that could help address real safety concerns. The Eglin Air Force Base investigation further revealed how deeply this silence runs. Lawmakers learned that pilots had been directly warned that reporting UAP incidents could hinder their careers, reinforcing the idea that silence was safer than honesty. Such discouragement creates an information vacuum. Pilots observe potentially hazardous phenomena, yet critical details about patterns, behaviors, and technological capabilities remain uncollected and unanalyzed. Recent congressional hearings mark a shift, providing official recognition that these encounters occur and deserve serious review. Still, breaking decades of ingrained culture will require ongoing effort, transparency, and strong protections for those who come forward. One of the most striking aspects of recent UAP investigations involves testimony describing encounters with what witnesses call interdimensional beings. These accounts go beyond advanced technology and touch on concepts that challenge fundamental understandings of reality. Congressional investigators have heard repeated descriptions of entities that seem to operate outside normal spacetime. Witnesses report beings that move through different dimensional spaces, appearing and vanishing in ways that suggest access to physics beyond current knowledge. This perspective helps explain puzzling aspects of UAP encounters, objects that appear or disappear instantly, ignore inertia and gravity, and shift in and out of visible reality. Some witnesses describe beings that seem partially present in our world while simultaneously connected to other dimensions. Such qualities could explain why they interact with humans yet remain difficult to detect with standard sensors. Historical records add weight to these claims. References to similar phenomena appear across religious texts, cultural traditions, and ancient accounts, hinting at either a long-standing presence or a recurring human experience with interdimensional events. The hypothesis, however, presents immense challenges for science. By definition, phenomena existing beyond three-dimensional space resist study with current instruments. This makes verification and analysis difficult, leaving investigators with credible testimony but few conventional ways to measure it. Congressional investigators recognize both the extraordinary nature of these reports and their responsibility to examine credible accounts. The main challenge is creating methods capable of studying phenomena that may operate under unfamiliar physical laws. Importantly, those providing this testimony are not fringe voices but respected professionals with deep experience in intelligence, the military, and advanced technology. Their willingness to risk reputations and careers to share accounts of interdimensional encounters strongly suggests they believe their experiences are authentic and worthy of serious consideration. The high concentration of UAP sightings near oceans has led many to consider theories of underwater bases and transmedium craft. For any advanced civilization, the ocean offers an ideal location to operate discreetly, avoiding detection by modern surveillance systems. Land-based facilities remain vulnerable to satellite monitoring, which can detect heat emissions, electromagnetic signals, or visible structures. By contrast, the ocean floor provides natural concealment. With more than 80% of it still unmapped, vast regions remain unexplored. At depths of 1 to 2 miles, installations could exist far beyond human reach, protected by pressure, darkness, and inaccessibility. Testimony about transmedium craft further supports this theory. Witnesses describe vehicles capable of generating gravity bubbles that allow seamless transitions between air and water, bypassing the drag that limits conventional technology. Such propulsion could enable rapid travel between underwater locations and atmospheric operations. Reports of objects moving at speeds near 500 knots underwater highlight the gap between these craft and human capability. Submarines face immense resistance and energy demands at high speed, yet UAPs appear to maneuver with no such restrictions, suggesting advanced methods of interacting with the surrounding medium. Geographic patterns reinforce the oceanic link. Many of the most credible encounters, including the USS Nimitz off California, sightings off Virginia Beach, and reports from naval vessels worldwide, occur near coastlines or over open water. This consistency strengthens the idea that proximity to oceans plays a central role in UAP activity. If such technology exists, underwater bases would provide both strategic concealment and long-term operational security. They could enable monitoring and interaction with human civilization while avoiding exposure. The transmedium abilities themselves also clarify the extraordinary maneuvers often described by military personnel. Craft that manipulate gravitational fields or distort local space-time would naturally appear to defy physics as we understand it, while operating according to more advanced principles. The July 26, 2023, Congressional hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena marked a turning point in government transparency. For the first time in decades, highly credible witnesses testified under oath about encounters that challenge current scientific and military understanding. Its significance came not only from the testimony but from the recognition that UAPs warrant investigation rather than dismissal. The three witnesses, Ryan Graves, David Grusch, and David Fravor, brought decades of military and intelligence expertise, lending unusual weight to the proceedings. Graves, a former Navy F-18 pilot with engineering expertise, detailed radar data, flight characteristics, and safety implications of repeated encounters. His account highlighted both the systematic nature of sightings and the inadequate institutional response. Grusch described crash retrievals, reverse engineering efforts, and contractor involvement, alleging a long-standing program operating with little oversight. His claims suggested that public sightings may represent only a fraction of what is known privately. Fravor recounted his now famous Tic-Tac encounter, describing a craft capable of instantaneous acceleration, sharp maneuvers, and disappearance, movements that defy current physics and engineering. The hearing also revealed suppression of information. All three men testified to career risks, intimidation, and official discouragement of reporting, noting that such pressures prevent data from reaching oversight bodies or the public. Perhaps most importantly, the hearing established official acknowledgement that UAPs exist, carry safety and security implications, and merit serious scientific study. This represented a sharp departure from decades of ridicule and denial. By testifying under oath, the witnesses risked perjury if their statements were false, underscoring their confidence in their accounts. Their consistent descriptions of advanced technology, secrecy, and potential non-human involvement created a compelling case for expanded inquiry. Finally, the hearing underscored constitutional concerns. The denial of congressional access at Eglin Air Force Base showed how unelected officials may be controlling information that should fall under democratic oversight. The question of what constitutes irrefutable proof of non-human intelligence raises both practical and philosophical challenges. Standards of evidence differ, and the nature of these phenomena makes conventional verification difficult. For some, the testimony of trained military witnesses, supported by radar data, sensor confirmation, and consistent accounts over decades, already provides compelling evidence. For others, only clear imagery, physical artifacts, or direct contact would suffice. Yet many reports suggest these phenomena can evade or disable recording systems, complicating traditional documentation. The interdimensional hypothesis adds further difficulty. If such beings operate partly outside our dimensional space, they may be inherently resistant to detection with instruments designed for three-dimensional reality. This creates a fundamental barrier to scientific verification. Government secrecy compounds the issue. If physical evidence or definitive recordings exist within classified programs, the public may never gain access. Recent hearings indicate that more information may exist than is currently available for review. A gradual disclosure process may represent the most realistic path forward. The accumulation of credible testimony, official acknowledgement, and systematic investigation can steadily shift scientific and public understanding. Programs protecting whistleblowers, expanding transparency, and institutionalizing UAP study are already important steps. Ultimately, the central question may not be immediate proof but recognition that these encounters deserve serious inquiry. Whether they reflect advanced human technology, non-human intelligence, or interdimensional phenomena, they clearly warrant rigorous investigation rather than secrecy or dismissal. What's your take on this evidence? Do you think we're dealing with advanced human technology, extraterrestrial visitors, or something even more extraordinary like interdimensional beings? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and follow the channel to discover more interesting things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.